Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And one of my subscribers has awared me that V-Shrunk has ironically made a video about knee pain when he's a guy who promotes training styles that actually cause knee pain. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skill at my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. And you know guys, I do like to give credit where credit is due. People who are on YouTube doing fitness stuff usually have at least something they're doing right. Otherwise, they wouldn't have followers, right? And I get silly people come over here and be like, well, Jason, what about you? Because I get guys big and strong. People who follow my channel get big and strong with low injury rates, right? That's what they do. And there's tons, there are thousands of them with the results to prove it. And I don't charge for any of it. Now, V-Shred, who I like to call V-Shrunk, Vince, whatever his name is, gets very lean. He knows how to stay lean. You know, hell, when I watched the fact that he would recommend for snacks, making little banana sandwiches with natural peanut butter between them and little bitty bites, it's like, okay, maybe this guy knows a little bit about diet and leanness and all that. And he does stay pretty lean. And I'd be the first to say, look, if you're a total noob to training and nutrition, he might have some decent advice for getting lean and for fat loss and all these things, no doubt about it. But when it comes to gaining muscle or performing exercises correctly and preventing injuries, he is literally one of the most moronic people in YouTube fitness. He really is. And every other person says that. You see tons of people laughing about it. Other YouTubers who are into serious training and even physical therapists and coaches all laugh at the silly shit that he says. It's not true. It's not based on reality. He doesn't have any clue how to train. He is weak, and for the amount of training time that he puts in, he is extremely small. Now, a lot of people say, but I don't want to get bigger than him. Well, then you don't need to lift weights more than 30 minutes a week. That's all you need to do. So we kind of come to the point of if that's as much muscle as you're planning on gaining, we don't need a whole hell of a lot of weight training then, do we? That's not difficult to reach. And in all honesty, I could probably put most people on a novice program, and within 6 months, they would be as big as hell and never have to get any bigger. It's just not that big of a deal. Because we lift weights to gain muscle and gain strength. And when you've reached your desired strength and muscle mass, you can quit progressing. In fact, you can go on a very much a maintenance program. But the point we get to is talking about knee pain, right? And he goes up and he's doing all these little silly things. First of all, he talks about leg day, and that's the first thing I'll tell you. If you're having a leg day, I did a whole video on that the other day. There's already some problems with your training. We've debunked the whole concept of leg day. I mean, you should be training your legs in some capacity pretty much every time you're at the gym, right? If you're trying to actually get big, strong legs or trying to improve even your total metabolic rate, you should be training your legs all the time. Everything you do should be standing. I'm not a fan of these seated exercises with cables and all this silly shit. You need to be using your core and your legs and everything else all the time when you're training. You know, what in the hell are you trying to do here? But we get over to that point of he's saying, oh, knee pain and knee pain. Okay. First of all, the exercises he's promoting, because he's doing like little glute bridges with bands and like half squats with bands around his knees. Do you honestly think you're going to build any appreciable strength or muscle or anything else in your lower body with that? No. And I'm one of those people who falls in the category that, you know, you should actually have a 55 or 60-year-old grandmother under a barbell squatting before long. That's how you get them into shape. That's how you improve their longevity. That's how you stave off their osteoporosis. You need to get them on some weights. And the problem we run to is that he's talking about all this stuff with knee pain and knee injuries. So this is what you do once you have knee pain. Well, you have knee pain from following his silly-ass training advice. And he says, you know, we've all been there. Really? No, I've never been there. No, Vince, you guys have seen me squat over 500 pounds without wraps or sleeve in comp. Yeah, you guys see me in prep hit 508 going into a meet before. I've also squatted over 600 when I was younger because I'm old now. I'm in my 40s. I don't know what knee pain is from training. No, I actually don't know what you're talking about. You know why? Because I don't do silly-ass shit that causes knee pain. I lift big, heavy weights for full range of motion. See, that doesn't cause knee pain. Could be a tip right there. In other words, if you only squat 200 pounds and you're already experiencing knee pain, there's some problems. You need to fire your coach at that point. Just call it what it is. They don't know how to train you. They don't have you performing stuff correctly. You want to know what causes most knee pain in my experience with two things in the gym? Half squats, leg extensions. What does Vince promote? half squats and leg extensions. He's doing half squats with the band around his knee. He's showing people how to do these air squats with this band around their knee, and he's not even doing a parallel squat. And I'm not saying everyone needs to do a full squat, right? We don't all need to do a full squat, but we should at least be going to parallel. And there's a lot of data on it. We know that partial squats cause more shear stress on the knee. They do, because the way that the knee is extended and the way that the shear stress is put on it when you're stopping short of getting to parallel, you put more stress on the knee and you're required to move more weight to get the same training load. In other words, people who are half squatting, for example, if you could do 200 pounds for 5 reps to parallel depth and you're half squatting, you can probably do 300 pounds for 5 reps. And in fact, to get the same quad stimulation, you're going to have to do 300 pounds for 5 reps. Well, you're now using a heavier weight than you would be for your full range of motion, and you're stopping short at the point where there's the most shear put up on the knee, which is right about here, right? That angle up that, instead of down here at parallel, there's more shear on the knee, and that's documented. So now you're putting the brakes on with a heavier weight, and what happens when you slow down the descent, your knee juts further forward. So it actually exacerbates knee problems. You get knee problems from doing half squats. That's actually one of the causes of knee pain, not going deep enough. I'm not talking about going too deep. We can talk about lower back problems as far as going too deep in posterior pelvic tilt, depending upon your anatomy, your anthropometry. But parallel is fine for everyone. Parallel should be fine for everyone. We can get anyone to where they can squat to parallel. Being 4 inches or 6 inches above parallel actually causes knee problems over time. The other thing, leg extensions hurt your knees. And then we go back to that point of people are like, well, I need to build bigger quads. I'm like, okay, we'll get your squat up to 400. All right, your quads aren't big enough with a 400-pound squat, get it to 500. I mean, anyone other than a serious competitive bodybuilder, I have never seen anyone who is not an extremely serious competitive bodybuilder who felt that their quads were too small with a 500-pound squat. All right, there's your problem solved. Get strong on your squats. You can build quads. You don't want to squat as heavy, fine, do front squats. Problem solved. Get your front squat up to 300 pounds. You'll have quads. You don't need leg extensions. Leg extensions are what I call knee destroyers. So here's the problem we run into. We've got a guy standing here talking about knee pain and giving silly-ass, fluff, little goofy-ass workouts that aren't going to put any muscle on you, no strength upon you to deal with your knee pain, right? Oh man, I swear I should start doing cooking videos. I've got potatoes boiling over in the other room and you can already hear them coming through. Sorry about that. Yes, I'm going to eat chicken and potatoes for breakfast today. But over to my point. He's causing knee pain and giving silly-ass workouts to try to correct it. Now, people say, well, what if you're already going in with knee pain? Box squats. Box squats. That is the one solution I have found over the years. People who have knee pain for whatever reasons are starting out with knee problems. That's really the best use of a box squat. Correctly doing a box squat to where you have no knee travel and it becomes a more hamstring dominant squat and a more hip dominant squat is oftentimes your solution to people with chronic knee pain who are starting to train. And if you can build everything up around that, you can build their posterior chain up and build the support musculature up while doing box squats, you can oftentimes eventually get them over to a normal barbell squat over time. And if they can never do that because they have degenerative knee disease or they've had a knee replacement, then stay on box squats indefinitely. There's your solution. But these silly half squats with bands and all this other silly shit that Vince is having people do, this is not a solution. All right, if you want to avoid knee pain, don't do the stupid stuff you see this ass clown doing, right? Don't do the silly stuff that he promotes, and you won't develop knee pain to begin with. Learn to squat correctly. Avoid half squats. Build your posterior chain, avoid leg extensions, and you probably are not going to ever develop knee pain from training until you get to an insanely high poundage. Now, I mean, you build your squat up to 700 pounds, all right, you're probably going to run the risk of some knee problems at some point. But for the majority of people, like if you're not going to ever squat more than 400 pounds for a few reps, if you're training correctly, you're not going to get knee pain from your squatting. That's just the reality of it, if you are doing them correctly. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.